What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and this is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 98, UFC Louisville. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. 12-fight card.
14.
14, sorry. 14-fight card. Not the worst fight night card, to be honest. I think there's some really good matchups here. Obviously, there is some, duds, but you never know how it works out as far as betting, especially in live betting. So, how do you feel about this card this week?
Like you said, man, it's up and down. There's some good fights, some good matchups, and then there's some Wagyu time to cook the steaks. So,
yeah, last week was an absolute dud, especially on my end. I think I hit one and I got lucky, the split decision on Strickland, which shouldn't have even been a split decision. I have no idea how that was, but pretty much a bad Lambo Plays week, I should say. Probably one of our worst of the year, to be honest. We've hit a lot of big plays, but last week was it was pretty bad. Let me go over to chat real quick. Mushroom, what is up? MMA Goulash says, let's go, boys. No apex equals violence. I think it's apex equals violence, but okay. Worth it says Narco and Tim are some of the best cappers. Always enjoy the show. Keep up the good work, boys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Gains and Girls Men's Lifestyle channel. Tim comes up with really good round specific props. I've hit on several that he suggested. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. I think you're a first timer here actually in chat, right? Right, Tim?
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen that them in here. Elijah, hoping for lots of finishes tomorrow unlike last weekend. Yeah, last weekend was brutal. Bufu on the beat. What's up, Narco and Tim? What is up, my man? Thank you for joining. Silky B says, I suddenly felt like betting this card. I love it. I love it. There will be blood is in the house. It's money time. OV740 Lock says, smash that like button. Fresh Gambles. Lambo, Louisville, baby. Yes, sir. Lambo, Louisville. It is. Kyle Larson. Let's go. Glenbot, what's up, gentlemen? What is up, my man? Asher, let's cash those tickets. Landon Warner, let's effing go. Remdog in the house as well. Danny Sue, let's go. Kristen, hi, Narco, Tim, and chat. What is up, Kristen? Always here, always supporting. Appreciate you. Ted Ashbrook says, haven't made it live to one in a minute. Let's cook, boys. Thanks for being here. Lowe's, can't wait. Let's go, my man. What else do we have here? What Rat? W Steam like up. I think he's saying to hit the like button. Is that what that means?
Not sure.
Tim?
Not sure.
Come on. Make that out right there. I don't know what it is. Craig Crowley, what is up, my man? Dixon in the house. Narco, this card is going to be hotter than Tim's tennis moms. Uh-oh. I don't know if that could be, but possible. Joshua Frick, what is up, my man? Aussie Fight Fan. First we get the money, then we get the Lambo, then we get the woman. I don't know about the woman. I'm married, bro. I don't know what woman. I'm not getting any woman. DA07, the French baguette will cook in the main. MB says, last week I think I took the hardest losses. Bring on Tomar. Yeah. Last week on here, we didn't hit many, but man, for the year, we've been cooking. Best in the biz. Thank you, Sergio. Appreciate you. Timothy Johnson also in here. Felix P. What did do, Narco, listening to pod while riding the CTA Orange Line? Let's cash some Lambos. Let's go. Orange Line in the Chi-Town, I'm assuming. MMA Line Mover, what is up, my man? Daily Dig, how much is a Wagyu cow? Only Tim would know this. What else we have here? Everyone come to lay on people and barely fight. Yeah, last week was brutal. MMA Goulash, what is up? Paul says, is Dave Torelli judging this week? Oh, that guy was brutal last week. And I didn't even watch that card, but I heard there were some brutal scorecards. All right, 14 fights, Tim. Let's get through this. First fight of the night. It is in the strawweight division. It is the newcomer, the 8-4 Puja Tomar versus the 14-7 Rayan Amanda. Tim, off to you here for the first fight of the night.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is a spot where I just think the money line is absolutely stupid. So I'll say that first and foremost. Like, dude, you shouldn't be laying minus 330 on Rayan, like, ever. It's never a good thing. she hasn't really shown like super game like anywhere. I mean, like on the ground, striking, nothing is really like off the charts. But that being said, she's fighting an Indian fighter. So, I mean, not trying to be racist here, but it's just not a good thing normally. I'll be the first person to say that they proved me wrong, and that what is her name? Pooja proved me wrong in this one. But what I've seen on the tape from Pooja is she's okay striking, and she's just got a terrible ground game. I mean, like just whether or not she can stuff takedowns and whether or not she's short enough and stocky enough to stuff takedowns in this fight is really the ultimate question for me. I don't think Rayanne's wrestling is that good, but I don't know if it needs to be that good. Might be able to even get her down in the clinch here. So it's like I don't really know what round it would be, so I don't want to really give that one. I'm going to start off with like a cheap one. I would assume maybe earlier, but I honestly don't know. It's like plus 210, so used Corolla on Rayanne by sub. Get a minus 330 to a plus 210. I would kind of lean that it's a little bit later, but I honestly don't know. So I'm just going to stick with just the sub at plus 210.
Yeah. Honestly, I do think this Indian chick is. I think she's a little different in the sense that she seems tough. She throws with a lot of power. She has good kicks, actually, very good kicks. But I think her grappling is obviously where she lacks a bit here. She does get tagged on the feet as well. Like she's not hittable because she's so wild, right, on the feet. She's not very technical, but she has power. On the other side, Ryan Amanda, a lot of subs, 8 subs, but against 2. That's the issue. Like all these subs are against really, really, really low level opponents. So, they she says she's a black belt, but I honestly, everybody she subbed are just, awful, right? I think they're like almost all of them have 0 wins in MMA, which is crazy. But I do think she throws with decent power. I don't think like her hands are bad. She hurt Alencar very bad, but like just decided not to go for the finish. It was very weird. They clinched up at that point. I don't know what she was thinking, but I think Tomar's there to be hit, to be honest. However, I don't think she's not live to win, to be honest. Tomar, I think I agree with you. I think this line is a bit too wide. You don't want to be laying this type of price with Dos Santos. Tomar's at 280. I just, her level of opposition is pretty damn bad as well. And, Stamp Fairtex finishing with ground and pound is kind of bad. Fairtex is a kickboxer, whatever, but she was out grappling her in that fight, which is kind of crazy. There's a line out there that I hit that is completely off the market. It's on Hard Rock if you have it. It's Santos by KO. It's plus 1,500. It's literally $8, $7 off the market. Like that. It's way, way off. I hit it. That's what I'm going to play. Obviously, not everybody can get that line.
It's on FanDuel.
Is it on FanDuel that I messed up? Oh, maybe it is on. Yeah, sorry. It's on FanDuel. And it's fucking $7 off the market, guys. Like the lines everywhere is 800, 750. But on FanDuel, it's plus 1,500. That's wild to me, man. Because Amanda still throws pretty hard. I mean, that's my Lambo play here. It's 1,500 is insanity. I don't know who clicked the wrong button, but somebody clicked the wrong button. And what I did is I played KO1. I played KO because they limit me, but then I played KO 1, 2, and 3. They're astronomical numbers. So I just played them.
Yeah, it's crazy line, man. I just looked at the double chance line for Dos Santos, and it's plus 170. Like,
how could that be? 1,500 on KO?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that it's like, I think taking the sub. I think honestly taking the sub is stupid at 210 if it's plus 170 on the inside the distance.
Yeah, take inside the distance, of course.
I'm probably going to take inside the distance and then take your KO and just be like fucking hope. You know what I'm saying? There's no question that she could get a position on the ground against this chick. And
that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Positional KO, man.
That's what I think it would be, probably. I mean, right?
Stamp Fairtex was positional KO.
Yeah, that's what I think it would be.
Stamp Fairtex is a freaking Muay Thai striker. She's not a grappler. So if she can get a positional KO, why can't fucking Amanda get a positional KO?
Yeah, I'm switching my man. Just my first switch of the show here. All right. That's a much better way to go.
Let's move on. Fight number 2. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 21-6-1 Cody Staman versus the 19-4 Taylor Lapis. And I will kick this one off. Everybody's on Staman. I mean, everybody's on Lapis. I kind of get it. This line has steamed up to 270, 280 in some spots. But like, I get the Cody Staman fade. I see it. I think he's kind of looked bad in some fights. Honestly, he looked pretty good in the Douglas Silva de Andrade fight. He clearly won round 3. He dropped Andrade, but he got totally screwed. I think it was in round 2. Like, the guy up kicks him. He gets a takedown. The guy up kicks him. The referee stops the contest at that point to give him time. And then he restarts it on the feet. And it's like, bro, this guy's on top of him. You restart on the feet. And then Douglas Silva de Andrade probably won the round because of that. Because of those 30, 40, 50 seconds, bro. Like, if they restart him on the ground, he lays there, he wins the fight. But either way, I thought he won the fight. Andrade has a lot of power. He's got good takedown defense. He's got good jiu-jitsu. And Lapis, to be honest, like, I don't know, man. Like, his takedown defense is not great. He's got a good get-up game. He does well to scramble up and stuff, but, he still could get hit on the feet. It's not like he's perfect standing. Staman throws with a lot of power. He's got very good footwork. His boxing is actually pretty good. He's just going to have a significant reach disadvantage here against Lapis, right? Lapis has like freaking tarantula, or I don't know what kind of arms do you. Who has long arms, Tim? It's definitely not a T-Rex.
No.
T-Rex, but. Yeah, I mean, he should win the striking. I think he wins this fight, Lapis. But I think it's going to be fairly close, man. So I'm going to, chuck at Staman decision here. It's 350. Lapis never been finished. So if Staman wins, I do think it's a decision. I think he can compete on the feet, but I also think he can land takedowns. And, in his interview, I listened to his interview, and he basically said that, the guy's a good striker. I'm a good striker as well, and I like to strike, but those guys out there in France do not know how to wrestle, he said. So, probably means he's going to wrestle a bit here. Not very sure. There's a lot of fights that he should have wrestled that he doesn't. But, yeah, I'm going to think he's going to mix in wrestling here, probably win some minutes there. It's going to be a close decision. I do lean Lapis W here. I think, Staman's going to look like a minus – a plus EV loser, sorry. But, yeah, 350 on Staman. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I also added the Staman by split. I mean, plus 350 and plus 900. I think it's clearly his path. He's not a dude that knocks guys out unless they're Wineland, who's fucking dead at that time when he fought him. Surprised that Wineland actually didn't get knocked out when the guy put the grease on his face. But yeah, I mean, like, the only thing I'd add is, like, Colin Loughlin won a round against him by getting him down and controlling him as well. I don't think that his wrestling is as good as Cody Staman's. And I don't think that his striking is either. So, like, I just feel like there is a path for Cody to win this. It's going to be hard for him to get into range, like you're saying. But, I mean, Lapis is not a guy that's like separating in rounds. He counter punches and like just rarely is he like destroying guys in rounds. So it just could be easily really quick or really close. And I think like if I'm Staman, like you're saying, I'm trying to wrestle hard or I'm just like throwing just WMMA type spam volume, just over and over and over, and just throw 3 times the strikes, and it doesn't even fucking matter if you hit them, and hope that the judges give you value for it. But yeah, give me Cody by split at 9-1 and Cody by points.
All right. Fight number 3. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 10-0 Eduardo Mora versus the 8-3 Denise Gomes, and this one's yours, Tim.
This is an interesting fight. I think this fight goes 2 ways. I think it's either a decision for Mora, or I think she gets finished in. Honestly, she could get finished and bonked early, but I think it'd probably be like later if she can't get takedowns. I do feel like she could get takedowns every round. I know that the narrative in her is that she's not, she doesn't have cardio because she's finished everybody early minus Montserrat Ruiz or Rendon or whatever her name is. But like, she just murdered that chick in that fight. The only red flag in the Montserrat fight was the first takedown attempt where she actually like didn't get it, then was on her back and then had to reverse her, but she reversed her like instantly. But I don't think Montserrat's any good. So that, the problem on the Gomes side is just doesn't really show that she's got great takedown defense and hips and can be taken down from multiple positions against fighters that really don't have great takedowns. I think the wrestling on Mora is better than the fighters that were able to get Denise down. That being said, Mora's striking is really not there at all. I think it has to do somewhat with like she always trains with dudes and she never's like training with women, and I don't think that they go after her and try to strike with her really that much. I think that they're just trying to let her grapple and try to grapple guys that are stronger and bigger, and she does it that way, but her striking is really not that good. So I could see a points for Mora, which would be my call, but I'm also going to definitely have bets on the KO and the KO 2 and 3 for Gomes at 13-1 and 28-1. I think if she does finish her as a KO, I don't see her submitting her really. So I think that she's just got really strong hands. She's obviously shown she can fuck people up. So yeah, it's kind of how I see it going. Either a decision for Mora or a KO probably later for Denise.
Yeah. I kind of think this girl is going to gas, to be honest. One thing you need to look at is very important is she's missing weight consistently. She missed again weight by 0.5 pound this time, so she had to cut more weight. When I searched her Instagram, she was literally in towels on the ground, covered up yesterday, cutting weight. This girl's cutting a lot of weight, bro, a lot, and she missed by 0.5 pound here. Okay, I think that the pace and pressure that Gomes brings, like, it's going to get her tired. I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, she can. I do think Mora is going to take her down, but Gomes is not a slouch on the ground. She's a brown belt herself. She trains with her partner. That's a black belt. I think she might even be better on the ground than Mora, to be honest. Mora's running through girls on the ground, but who? Like, these girls are not good, man. The girl she fought in Contender Series is an absolute bum. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Gomes is out there, competing with and beating good girls. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, Loma took her down a bunch, hip throws, this and that, but she almost had Loma in some deep submissions, man, as well, right? And I do think this girl, Mora, is going to be in trouble later in this fight, in my opinion. And Gomes carries power late. She has power. She goes for subs late. I think she can hurt her late. Round 2 and 3 is 1,000 and 1,700 on Gomes. So I like those, but the whisper bet of the week, Tim, is Denise Gomes by submission in round 2 and 3. It's plus 5,000 and plus 8,000. This is on Bet365. You better believe I'm freaking hitting those, man, because this girl, I'm telling you, her grappling is not bad. She's got nasty submissions. And if you remember this, she had Angela Hill dead to rights for an armbar. And Angela Hill stuck her hand in between her thigh. It was this close, man. If she had released the hand, it's over for fucking Angela Hill. So, even though Angela Hill had success grappling, she still got stuck in a nasty armbar. But, she did the right thing. She put her hand through there. I just think she's going to get her, man. I honestly think this Mora makes mistakes on the ground. Yeah, she's big, she's strong, but she's faced nobody. She's faced nobody that can grapple. And the one girl that can grapple that's a black belt is Eileen Saddlemeyer, and she's fucking terrible and old. And she went to split decision against her, and she was losing position. I saw the highlights. I went to their Instagram, and I wanted to see, and she lost position a shit ton of times in that fight against that girl. So, yeah, man, I'm on Gomes here. I don't get the Mora love here, to be honest. Yeah, she's strong. Oh, she can get takedowns, but she's not good on the ground. She's getting takedowns and ragdolling bums. It doesn't mean anything to me, So, yeah, I'm going with Denise Gomes here, rounds 2 and 3, but I'm also giving that whisper bet, the sub 2-3 on Denise Gomes. Let's move on. Fight number 4. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 15-0 Daniel Marcos versus the 21-6 John Castaneda, and I will kick this one off. I went back and forth on this, honestly, because I'm pretty impressed with Marcos. He's looking better and better every fight. He looked really good last fight against Radzhy Lang. But there's one thing that is all constantly sticking out with this guy, and I do think his cardio is not up to par. I really believe his cardio is not up to par. He was running away, literally running away in the Dana White's Contender Series fight. Then when you look in the Davy Grant fight, he was fading hard in that fight. When you look at this guy, he's a very good striker, mainly his kicks. His hands are okay. They're getting better. But I'm concerned with his cardio. And Castaneda actually has really good cardio. He has a shitload of finishes later in the fight, Tim. Look at this. Round 3 sub against Johns. Round 3 sub against Rojo. Round 2 punch. Ground and pound round 4. Arm triangle round 3. I mean, how many more do you want? This guy has a shit ton of late finishes, and he can grapple. He can wrestle. He even wrestled Miles Johns in that fight, man. And Miles Johns a legit wrestler. So I think Marcos, the later this fight goes, the more he's going to be in trouble. The one thing that I did see with Marcos that will be effective in this fight, and maybe he saw it on tape, is I don't think Castaneda likes getting kicked or punched to the body. It seems like one of his weaknesses, in the fight against Santos, that's how he really got finished to the body. He kind of, but also I saw it in the Kung Ho Kang fight in round 2 or 3, I believe. Kang kicked him, and you could see him drop his hands and acknowledge it where he didn't like. And, one thing that Marcos is really good at is his kick game. So I do think that can give Castaneda trouble. But the later this fight goes, I like Castaneda. His round 2 is 1,400. His round 3 is 1,800. I'm really not going to pick between KO and sub. I do think if it is, it's probably sub. But, yeah, man, he's got better cardio. The Contender Series fight was 3 years ago. But the Davy Grant fight, that's not a good look. He was definitely fucking really tired in round 3. So, yeah, I like Castaneda here round 2 or 3. I think it's a good fight. Ultimately, I do kind of lean Marcos' side here to win, but I can't get to a bet here at all. What do you have here, Tim?
I'm kind of with you on the round 2, round 3, and I don't hate round 2, round 3 sub either. I think that Marcos is Peruvian, right? That's all I need to say for me. Like, these guys have shown over and over and over the last forever. They're not good off their backs. If you can get them on the ground, there's major weaknesses and major holes. Hate to be ripping on countries with India, and now I'm doing it with Peru. I'm probably going to get ripped to shreds here. But yeah, I mean, I just think that there's just glaring holes in these Peruvian fighters, that they just all like to strike, and they really don't like being on the ground. Like you said, I think that Sexy Mexi has wrestling to be able to get him down to the ground, especially as he gets tired, especially as the fight gets going. And yeah, I do call him getting lawn topped. Yeah, exactly. I just think that round 2, round 3 are solid. If this fight goes to decision, it could be close. It could be a splitish, but I think the finishing lines. I think the finishing lines for Castaneda are kind of stupid, to be honest. You're getting really good lines that I was expecting, like 9 or 10 to 1 on round 2, and like probably 15 or something like that on round 3. So yeah, 14, 18 to 1, and 24 and 29 to 1. If you take the round 2, round 3 round, and then you go round 2, round 3 sub. So I don't hate those.
All right, let's move on. Fight number 5. It is in the flyweight division. It is a 13-9 Andrea Lee versus the 12-9-1 Montana Dela Rosa. This one's yours, Tim.
I'll be quick on this one. I mean, this is a fight that I don't think anybody asked for at all, unless it's like maybe Andrea Lee's family. So Andrea Lee to me just seems like she's a shell of what she used to be. She doesn't really like engaging in fights anymore. Doesn't like getting hit. Got outstruck by Miranda Maverick, which if you told me pre-fight that Miranda Maverick was going to win the striking, I would have laid all the juice and put 10 units on it, because there really was no way to lose for her at that point then. Expected her to be able to get takedowns and things like that. She really didn't have to. It's a terrible look. So I think the striking from Lee is regressing. I think Dela Rosa, kind of similar. I think that she's just not really that good. I think there's 2 ways that this fight goes from a Lambo standpoint. It's like plus 275 for ends by split, which is possible. I mean, in women's MMA, it could be close. Or Dela Rosa possibly by sub at 12 to 1. She's going to be looking to try to get the fight to the ground. I mean, 12 to 1 seems kind of dumb. She has 8 submissions in her career. I'm not saying that Andrea is easy to sub. She's not. She defended one against who's that Brazilian fighter, but can't remember. But there was a deep submission attempt in the later rounds versus can't remember her name. Who am I talking about? Araujo. Thank you. So yeah, I just think that there's a slight chance. I don't think it's going to hit, but 12 to 1 is not bad. But I really think it's going to be end split would be the only way I would go with this.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: one girl's 29, the other one is 35, I think. Right? Yeah, she's 35. The other girl's 29. How I'm looking at this, to be honest, and I went back and watched her first fight. Montana got takedowns. The problem is she got busted up early. Her nose got busted. She was bleeding all over the fucking place, really bad. And Andrea Lee got the best of her there. What I will say is kind of important, and why I'm playing this Lambo play here is because, first off, I do think Montana Dela Rosa's striking has gotten better since then. She was like 22 years old when she fought her. I mean, she was really young. Was it 22 or 24? Let's see. I don't want to goof it up here. No, sorry. It was 24. She was 24. It was only her second UFC fight. Meanwhile, Andrea Lee has been there for a little bit. More experience. Just got the better of her. In this rematch, I do think Montana Dela Rosa's hands have gotten a little bit better. I don't understand why she just stood there against JJ Eldridge and did not grapple whatsoever. It still befuddles me. Like, what kind of game plan was that? I don't know. But I will say, in their first fight, Montana Dela Rosa in round 3 had a darce on her. It was pretty deep, but she just didn't do the right things. And then she switched to an armbar. She had an armbar in, and Andrea Lee managed to get out. And this was in round 3. So she did hunt submissions. And I think, this is probably a better version of herself. This is probably a worse version of Andrea Lee. 12 to 1 by sub, Tim. I'm going to take a shot there. Yes, I agree with you. Andrea Lee probably won't be easy to sub, but I also don't think she's like really faced like high level grapplers as well. And I'm not saying Montana Dela Rosa is a high level grappler. I'm just saying she hasn't really faced girls that are really, really good on the ground. So, most of these girls, are not like big submission threats that she's faced. And, Montana 12-1, I just could see a path where she gets a submission, she gets a takedown. And like you said, Andrea Lee last fight, man, Miranda Maverick beating you up at distance, striking is awful. It's an awful look. So
yeah, I like 12-1's awesome for that.
She's got 4 losses in a row. I think her trajectory is looking really, really bad here. Let's move on. Fight number 6. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 13-3 Brad Katona versus the 12-5 Jesse Butler. I'll kick this one off. Plain and simple, I don't think Katona should be this big of a favorite. When you're minus 600, 700, whatever, Katona's at now, and the fight to go to distance is minus 200, something feels off, right? Like normally when you're a minus 700, you're covering via finish, right? You're not going to distance, but this line tells us this fight, most likely goes to distance, yet Katona's minus 700. I don't think that's correct. Something's off here. Butler, he's not very good, but he's a huge 35er now. He made weight. He fought at 55. He fought at 45 his whole career. Now he's making 35. I mean, he's going to be massive compared to Brad Katona. So I don't think he can finish Brad, but I think he can win a decision, honestly. Brad Katona fights too close for my liking. I do not like how he fights based on, sometimes he doesn't land damage. He just going for takedowns, doesn't do nothing else. Meanwhile, Butler, he's gonna hunt subs, man. He hunts a lot of submissions. He's gonna be much longer. He's gonna be bigger. So I don't know, man. I don't know how you can play Katona at these numbers, but I do think he wins. But my Lambo play is Butler by decision at plus 850. What do you have here, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I think Butler is kind of shit. I agree with you entirely that you can't lay this money line on Katona. I think it's most likely a Katona decision. Like you said, it's really close. It could be close. He doesn't really separate, but I just think Butler's there to be hit. He's there to be subbed. He's just, I don't think he's a guy that has really great defense at all. And Brad Katona in his interview said, "I'm Brad Katona. I'm going to bring Butler to the Katona-verse in round 2 and round 3. So I'm going to take round 2, round 3 again for Katona, fully knowing that they're going to lose.
Yeah, I'm never betting those on that fucker, man. I was so pissed that one fight. I can't bet him. I can't bet those on him. This guy has, I went back and looked, and I'm like, man, he's hurt people, but not one fucking knockdown in the UFC. Not one knockdown. I'm like, whoa,
not separating enough in these rounds. I need to bring out the Katona-verse.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to be sent to Katona-verse. All right. Fight number 7. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 9-3 Charles Radke versus the 18-6 Carlos Protes. This one's yours, Tim.
I think that Protes is got some really dangerous striking, clearly. Think he takes a little bit of time to get his reads. He did in his last fight against Officer Giles, and I feel like it's just one of those fights where it's like I think that you got people that won their Chuck Buffalo bets the last fight, and they're ready to jump in at this line and say, like, I'm willing to take a shot on this guy as a dog. He's going to fight for my money, things like that. And I just think that there's some defensive liabilities on him that are probably going to get picked apart eventually in this fight. So give me Protes by KO in round 2 or round 3. It's plus 600, plus 1,000. I think eventually he catches him.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, man, to be honest. I just think it's one of those where, Radzhy does have good boxing and stuff. But he's a little weak to the body, man. Montalvo shut him down to the body. Protes just continually keeps and kicks to the body and prods. And the guy has shown a very, very good chin of late. When he's getting grappled, he's getting up against really, really good wrestlers, that Russian guy in particular. He even threatened like nasty fucking chokes and stuff on him. And yeah, man, the length, the size of Protes is going to give Radzhy, I think, trouble, that he uses it well. He has that left hand, man. It's an absolute missile. And if he lands on you, it's night. He puts people to sleep when he lands on you. So I think he starts out slow, and I think he gets it like a little bit later. He's got his cardio's fine. 2-3 KO is 340 on FanDuel. I think that's when he gets it, to be honest. I don't think it's early. Chuck Buffalo does seem to kind of gauge how his fighters are fighting him, and he's smart. He's a smart fighter. He has a very, very good left hook with a lot of power. But some of those Blood Diamond minutes, I did not like seeing that. And if you're doing that against Blood Diamond, you're definitely in trouble if you do that against Protes. So Protes 2-3 KO plus 340 for me. Moving on, fight number 8. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 18-7 Thiago Moises versus the 21-4-1 Ludovic Klein. I will kick this one off. I think this is a close fight, honestly. I didn't know what to go. I'm going split at ends and split plus 400. I could see Moises landing takedowns, to be honest. I could see Klein landing takedowns. The striking, I do favor Klein. But, man, the level of opposition with these guys, Ludovic Klein has faced okay guys. Meanwhile, Thiago Moises has faced the best of the best. So that's the difference here, The level of experience is insane with these two. So with that being said, I still think Klein is a very good striker, has a ton of power. So it's going to be, I don't want to say Moises is flaky, but there's times that he's shown me like he maybe could be shown the door. But I think this fight goes to distance. I think it's going to be close, and I don't know what side to take, so I just went with just in split in general at plus 400.
So yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think if the fight goes, it could be very close. I think that I think if the fight hits the ground, especially if Moises gets a takedown, I think he's just significantly better on the ground than Ludovic. I mean, I just think that he'll work him on the ground if he gets him down. I don't know that the wrestling is great. I don't think it's that great for Moises, but I think that the fight where I'm like, I mean, does it really need to be great? Is the Jai Herbert getting Ludovic down? Like, it's like, dude, if Jai Herbert is getting you down, there's probably a good shot that Thiago Moises can get you down. And I think he also doesn't always like go after takedowns like really early. I think sometimes he strikes with guys and then he goes for them if they're set up and if it's things like that. He's not always trying to really get guys down. So I like the Moises by sub 370, sub 2, sub 3, 12 and 18-1. I think that those are good shots. I think that there is a chance that if he gets him down that he could work him on the ground.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it could be. Let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the middleweight. It's in the welterweight division. It is the 9-4 Punahele Soriano versus the 10-3 Miguel Bayaza. And this one is yours, Tim.
So this is like a classic. Whereas it'd be interesting to hear your take on this and what you think Bayaza, like, where is his chin at this point? But I mean, obviously he's gotten nuked by guys, but he's getting hit by really good shots. I mean, like the knockouts that he's taking are like would knock out most guys. The Chaos Williams one, I mean, like there's just I tend to like I've said this before on the show where I don't really know about some guys' chins, and then in hindsight, it's always fucking clear. Like, if you're looking at like Mateus Nicolau, and I'm like, I don't, maybe he's not. He's taking, big ass shots and and then he gets bonked in his last fight against Perez, and you're like, okay, yeah, he's clearly got chin issues. But like, this is another one of those fights where I'm like, I'm just not sure about Baeza's chin issues. I think that it's possible, very possible that he does have chin issues, but I'm not convinced that he's like Malcolm Gordon, So, that being said, like Puna is now going down to 170 first time. Looks like a completely different dude, different human being. He's a left hook or bust. Like he's just he's all it is. He's swinging wide left hook and just over and over and over, trying to set up his left hand. And if he doesn't hit it, he fucking loses. I think skill for skill, I think Baeza is significantly better fighter. Obviously, could he get caught by a left hook? Possibly. Yep. So I think it's a few different ways. I think if he survives, I think the points are really good for him. And I think the sub 2-3 at 10-1 is also pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, I was a big Miguel Baeza fan, but that's gone for me because I don't think he has a chin, to be honest. His chin's not good. Gets hurt way too much, defensively irresponsible. He's doing jiu-jitsu competitions. I think he should be doing, some boxing fights or something because he needs to train his defense standing because he gets hit way too much, man. And I do think he's the much more skilled fighter, like you said. I think he's better everywhere, to be honest. He's the cleaner striker. He's the way better jiu-jitsu guy. Puna is coming down to 170 here. We have to say that. He's historically always been at 85. And I think he's kind of undersized, to be honest, 85. Yeah, he's thick, but he's kind of short. He's got doesn't really have long arms. But here's how I look at this fight. Baeza coming off a layoff, been knocked out in his last two, has, three straight losses. Punahele Soriano finished in his last two, 4 out of his last 5. I think they're going to, a new division for him. I think they're going to start slow here, Tim. I think this is, both guys are going to be weary. They need a W. They need a W bad, both guys. I think they're going to be cautious, man. They're going to be cautious, and in that type of fight, I'm going to favor the guy that's more technical, right? In Baeza, he's longer, he's more technical, he's got some grappling. I think this fight goes, believe it or not. I honestly think this line is kind of ridiculous. Hold on, let me fix this cam because it's annoying. Every time I move, it does that. I think this line is kind of crazy, man. Fight doesn't go. It's like fucking minus 400 or something. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's a crazy line to me because at the end of the day, I do think Punahele Soriano is actually he's tough. It's not easy. The fucking shots he was taking from Kopylov, he absolutely was killing him, and then finally did a body, and then he stopped him, right? In the Allen fight, he got hit a lot with big kicks to the head, and I mean, he took all of them. So to me, it's like, is Baeza really like a one-hitter quitter? I don't think so. He's not like a huge, and not to mention, he's coming down to 170. It might hurt his chin. I don't know. But I know these guys don't hit as hard as the 85 guys, right? That I know. And I could venture to say that Baeza doesn't hit harder than Kopylov. So for me, I think this fight goes to decision, but I think the minute winner is clearly Baeza. So plus 420 on the Baeza decision.
Yep.
Kind of think it's bananas, to be honest. Maybe I'm way off. I'm overthinking it possibly, but I don't know how does it make sense that this guy's plus 420 to win by decision?
It's also, you got to say, I agree with your takes. Like, it's also like the Puna death gassed against Stoltzfus when he got finished too. Like, I just think like I just think like his power, how long does Puna's power last? I don't think that he throws the same power in round 2 and round 3. I think you got to worry about him KOing him in the first round. If he gets out of the first round, I think there's a really good shot that he doesn't wing the same shots and he doesn't have the same power. And it just becomes so much more predictable when he gets tired as to what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, I would be more worried about sub on Bayaza than maybe knockout even, to be honest.
That he subs Puna?
Yeah.
That's why I said the two I think that are possible are the points for Bayaza, and I think the sub 2, sub 3 is 10-1. I think those are both really good lines. They'll probably be having bets on both.
All right. Let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 9-4 Julian Marquez versus the 6-1 Zach Reese. I have to say, he's probably has one of the best nicknames, the Cuban Missile Crisis. But man, Marquez is hilarious. He is at MMA Lab. He has looked pretty good. Much better camp, in my opinion, for himself. Meanwhile, Zachary Reese, guys, I think he's a fraud. I'm sorry. He's still a fighter, and he's tough. Whatever it is, I just don't think he's UFC level. He's a meme guy or bust. He looked awful, honestly, in Dana White's Contender Series, ragdolled by that guy, and then he got an armbar off bottom. Meanwhile, he put up a triangle against Brundage, and Brundage just power bombed it, and it was over. Marquez is a powerful guy, man. He's strong. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I think he's a black belt as well. He's got power in his hands. I think he's going to starch this guy, to be honest. I think Zachary Reese is in for it. Plus 220 is knockout, Tim. I think it happens early. Zachary Reese falls over so easily. He looks so weak. I don't know what it is. Like, the way he fell over against that guy, Arnov, was hilarious, man. It was hilarious. And Brundage literally pushed him down, easily took him down. And I don't know, man. This guy's meme kick to the head or sub or bust, right? Like, I don't see any other way how he wins. So give me Julian Marquez here by knockout at plus 220. It's not the best line, but I just think it happens. And also, this guy's never been – I mean, he's round one, everything. Round one. It's like, dude, yeah, I just don't like what I see from him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think Reese, I put in a Discord, I put hashtag never Reese. I think that it's probably a round 1 or a round 2 finish for Marquez. I do think that he could sub him too. I don't think that it's like out of the realm of possibility. So it's plus 240, plus 550 for round 2, round 3. I mean, is it possible that Reese can defend until then? I don't really think so, to be honest. I think that Marquez is probably going to come after him pretty early, and if he gets on top of him, I think he's going to fuck him up. So, I mean, he could really beat him on the feet too. He can knock him out easily on the feet too. So, yeah, give me round 1, round 2, plus 2. Was it 240? Yeah, 240 and 550.
All right, let's move on. We're screaming through these last couple of fights. Fight number 11. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 11-1 Bruno Ferreira versus the 15-5 Dustin Stoltzfus. Timothy, this one's yours.
I kind of got a hot take on this one. Haven't really heard anybody talking about this week. I think Stoltzfus has been up in fights against guys, and then he fucking just crashes in round 3 a lot of times against these grapplers when he has to keep wrestling, and he's winning a lot of these fights before he finally gets finished. So I think that the striking in this fight is interesting. It's kind of an interesting way to go. Like, I I don't think that he's like dead on the feet for Stoltzfus. I think that he's, probably he's got to worry about just some really big shots from Bruno. I think that this fight could go, and I feel like it's like moments for Bruno. I feel like he's probably going to have way bigger moments in the fight, and I kind of think that Stoltzfus, like the knockout against Abus, like his he's like sucked in his toe, like he hit him here and like toe in his mouth is big, like that shot alone would probably knock out most fighters. And then he came and he finished him, and he was obviously concussed after that. But I think most of the time that fight finishes off of the kick. So I'm going to take a shot on. I mean, I really don't even care. I don't even really care if you take a shot on Stoltzfus by points either at 7-1. I'm going to take a shot on Bruno by points. It's plus 750 though.
Yeah. I think Bruno's going to nuke him, to be honest.
Yep.
Stoltzfus, Abus. Yeah, I get it. But he's been hurt in other fights. And honestly, Bruno is a one-hitter quitter. Like, he hits people, and if he lands flush, it's good night. And Stoltzfus' defense just not very good, man. And he gets landed on. He's at extreme couture. He looks, he always looks in great shape. I'll give him that. Like, he looks shredded all the time. Like, looks really good. Seems like he's always in good shape. His cardio seems to be pretty good. But I also think Bruno's cardio is, people are sleeping. I watched some of these fights on his regionals, went to round 2. He's still bouncing around, still looking good, man. And I think he could put his lights out in any round, to be honest. Round 1, round 2, round 3. And we've seen Stoltzfus gets finished in round 3. Mershart did it. Vieira did it. I lean round 3, 2 and 3 here for Ferreira. Don't ask me why. It's 500 for round 2. And if you have Hard Rock, it's 1,400 on round 3. I hit that. That's way off. It's like 800-900 everywhere. But on Hard Rock, it's 1,400. Can he do it early? Of course. I do think Ferreira can do it early. But I'm gonna take the later options, round 2, round 3 on Ferreira. I think he just needs to land one big one, right? And it could happen any round. I'm just going with the better odds at this point. Round 1 is nothing. I can't play. And Ferreira, for whoever that's lasted into round 2, he's nuked them in round 2. So it could happen in round 2. So yeah, Bruno Ferreira. Round 2 or 3, most likely knockout, but I don't even want to take submission on him. He's a black belt too. He's not a slouch on the ground. So let's move on. Fight number 12. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 8-1 Raul Rosas Jr. versus the 12-3 Ricky Turcios. I will kick this one off. I have to play Turcios 2-3, man. Rosas has shown me over and over again he gets tired. Meanwhile, Turcios can go forever. Round 3 on Turcios is 2,400. Round 2 on Turcios is 1,800. I just think he has the better cardio, man. He's got the better cardio. He's a very good scrambler. He's going to scramble for days. He's going to scramble his ass off against Rosas. I do think Rosas has success early, but I don't know if he's going to be able to backtake this guy, man. I really don't. To backpack and get the body triangle. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it to this guy. So, Turcios is a legit black belt as well on the ground. So, plus 2,400, plus 1,800, Ricky Turcios. Yeah. That's where I'm going here, Tim.
Yeah, I'm on a different side on this one. I think that Turcios, you know what I'm saying, doesn't really finish guys often. And I think that if Christian Rodriguez wasn't finishing Raul when he was as gassed as he was versus him and not being able to get, I just think that the takedown defense, we were both on Christian Rodriguez big in that fight. And I just feel like, I just don't think that Ricky's that guy. I just think that his takedown defense is really bad. And this is probably like, it's honestly, it's either like a round 1, round 2 sub for Rosas or a decision for Rosas. And I mean, like Rosas, when he was talking about this fight, he said, and that to me means that he's going to try to hunt for that sub early at plus 510 and plus 800 on sub 1, sub 2. But I really wouldn't be shocked if he's able to get top time even in round 3, or wins round 1 and round 2, and then maybe loses round 3. He could lose round 3 and still win unanimous 29-28. So I think it's like probably a decision, but I would not be surprised if he's able to get the back take and actually get the sub against him either early.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Rosas early is dangerous. Let's move on. Fight number 13. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 12-4 Dominic Reyes versus the 19-8-1 Dustin Jacoby, and this one is yours, Tim.
So here we are again with guys that are most likely chinny and done. We had this talk about Bayaza. I just think that Reyes, I mean, I'm going to come from one side and then I'm going to throw you guys for the twist here at the end. I think Reyes is cooked. I mean, I feel like he's the shot. I mean, like, he got knocked out by a jab versus Span. I understand that everybody thinks that Span hits hard. He does hit hard, but it was a fucking jab that knocked him out, and it was just a quick pop. It wasn't, Glenbot's got my pick right there. I just feel like Dustin Jacoby is a guy that really does not attempt huge strikes very much at all boxing wise, likes to leg kick, never separates in rounds. That's why when he lost to Roundtree, it's like Roundtree probably had half of the strikes, but had a couple moments. I think he dropped him in one round and wins the split. I still think that Dustin probably deserved to win that fight, but I mean, he just never ever separates. And I just am hoping that Reyes can take a jab at this point in the game for my bet. Reyes by points plus 600. I think if he can survive, I think he's a significantly better fighter all the way around. Level of competition, all these things are just screaming like Reyes. So hopefully he's on some type of juice that gives him a little chin support, and he can win a decision for us at 6-1.
Sad to say, but I kind of feel like there's value there in this decision prop. Like, I looked at it and I'm like, well, he can win minutes, if he doesn't get nuked, right? But the guy in front of him is not really the guy that really nukes people. He's got some power. I don't want to say he doesn't have any power at all, but he's typically not a guy that nukes people. He is also a bit older. Jacoby is 36. He's not young. He's lost 3 out of his last 4, but I can't overlook Dominic Reyes, man. Like, this guy's chin is definitely toast. Like, there's no other way at looking at it that his chin is absolutely toast. I mean, I listened to his interview, Tim, and it's not good, bro. Like, his interview is just not good. It just doesn't – something seems not right with his interview, This guy was with Teixeira MMA. He left there. He's now over there, fighting. I don't even know what gym he's at now, to be honest. I don't think he knows what gym he's at, because it seems like he's in California, but then he seems like he's bouncing around all over the place. So if anybody knows what gym he's actually training at, I would like to know. I don't even know what gym it is. I know he did a pit stop at, I think it was Extreme or somewhere, but not really training out of there. So, I don't even know who this guy's training with. I will say that, at a certain point in this guy's career, right, he was told not to fight. He was told not to fight anymore. Then he tried to make a comeback, right, Tim? He got knocked out pretty bad with a jab. But then he had this deep vein thrombosis thing that he pulled out from last fight. And he said in his interview, he if they didn't catch it, he would have been dead. He would have been dead. And he started taking blood thinners, right? This is not very long ago. And all of a sudden, he's back to fighting again. Like, something just does not feel right. He left Teixeira MMA. I'm pretty sure I know why. From everything that I've known, he was told not to fight. They told him not to fight, not to take the fight against Span. He didn't listen to them, and he got knocked out with a jab. Now he's fighting again. I don't think this guy should be fighting. Another thing running in my head is like, I just don't think these gyms want nothing to do with this guy because he shouldn't be fighting. That's the other thing. I think that's what's wrong. That's why if anybody knows where he's training, let me know, because I don't think he has a gym, honestly. So I'm going with, I see your decision. I see that it has value if it gets there. I think he gets knocked out again, Tim. I honestly do. He's facing Glory Kickboxer. Yes, he doesn't have a ton of power, but he has some power. And these guys are big guys. They're guys at 205, and anybody could get knocked out. I think Jacoby gets the early knockout, round 1, round 2, 410, 600, 700. There's some places, but yeah, man, I can't look past this guy not getting knocked out, man. He's getting knocked out, in my opinion. If he shows a chin, then I'm happy for him, Moving on. Well, it's the main event, actually. We can't move on if we don't see some likes. So we got 374 people in here. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Fight number 14, Tim. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 17-6 Jared Cannonier versus the 13-4 Nasruddin Imavov. A great main event, to be honest. I like both fighters. Cannonier has made me a lot of money. I like him a lot. However, the guy's coming off MCL surgery. He's 40 years old. It's hard for me to see where he's better than Imavov at this point of his career. Like, is he the better striker? I don't think so. Is he the better grappler? I don't think so. Imavov, 11 years younger. 12 years younger. I mean, this is, for me, it's the writing on the wall. I do think the UFC is trying to build up Imavov here. They're giving him another main event spot here to shine. I said I like Cannonier a lot. I just think this is kind of a bad matchup for him, honestly. I think Imavov is better everywhere. He's longer. He uses his kicks really well. Now the question is, what Lambo play do I like here? And I think there's an array of things that you can look at in this fight as a Lambo play. I think Imavov can find a finish here, honestly, even though Cannonier has shown he's extremely tough, extremely durable. He's only been knocked out twice in his career. And that was Reyes, who we just talked about, and Sean Jordan earlier in their career. But the guy's 40 years old, man. And Imavov, he doesn't have a ton of KOs in the UFC. But, man, he's hurting guys all the time. Like, he hurt. Dolitze's a tough fucker, man. He's just tough to get out of there. He hurt him. I mean, he was beating the crap out of Curtis before the head clash. Can he finish? That's the question. Can he finish here? I'm going to go with no, just because I think Cannonier is just super tough, super durable, good cardio. I'm going to go with decision here on Imavov. It's plus 245. I kind of feel like it's one of those fights where he might even run away with it, honestly. I don't mind if there's a good split line. I haven't looked. I don't mind it, but I'm going to go with the used Corolla here at plus 245 on Imavov by decision. Yeah,
I agree with basically everything you said, and then I would also add the split decision on it, just because these fucking judges seem to be like, one of them is taking peyote, and you're just like, what fight are you watching? And it could be it could be any one of them at this point. We have so many of them that could fuck it up, and it's just not like one guy anymore. It's like we got McCarthy, we got the dude that had it 29-28 for Mitch last week, and then had it's just fucking clusterfuck with these guys. So I think some of them are on hallucinogenic drugs while they're watching these fights, and it's just starting to kick in as the main event happens. So it happens so often on these fucking main events, these 5-round fights. It's like they forget what happens, and they're like, let's just write down a score and let's see what happens. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the fight ends by split is not that great. Either guy to win by split is 750 and 750. It's not really that good. So I'd rather take a shot. It's like, what is that, 350, like 375, something like that, if you split that up. So 375 is not terrible. But I like the Imavov points, and I would probably take Imavov by split at 750. But I just think it's better to just take his points and go with that. I think he probably wins 49-46 type fight.
All right. We're both on that side. That is it, Tim. 14 fights, 14 more than 14 Lambo plays, but Lambo parlay time, Tim. You start us off today. What do you have?
So I got two. You can let me know which one you think is better, or we'll just do them both. I did Protes KO 2-3 and Moises sub 2-3 is 34-1. And then I did Bayaza points, Rosas points. Protes KO is like 35-1, and if you wanted to do KO 2-3, it's 62-1.
Wait, what's the first one again?
Protes KO 2-3 and Moises sub 2-3.
Okay.
And then the second one is Bayaza points, Rosas points, and Protes. If you do Protes KO, it's like 35-1 or 38-1, and then if you wanted to do Protes KO 2-3, it's 62-1 as the third leg.
I think I like the second one, honestly. Bayaza Rosas decision. I mean, those are both very, very possible. And then Protes KO is I like that as well.
Yeah, the thing that I'm gonna do is, I mean, we've hit so many of these fucking ones where we miss it by one leg, and it's like a round 2, and then they get the finish in the end of round 1. So I'm probably gonna bet. I think it's just smart to just bet if you're getting like 38-1 or 35-1 and a 62-1 like that, just to bet small on one of them, and then to take both, as opposed to just trying to like. I'm just gonna split it up into 3 bets as opposed to 2.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with, I like Denise Gomes here in round 2 and 3. Obviously, that's one of my legs. The other one is Protes. 2-3. It's probably KO, most likely. That's how I think it happens. You can get anywhere from like 190-1 and like 70-1 for the lower one. Yeah, man. I mean, mix and match those round 2 and 3s between Protes and Gomes. And then, you can add like KO 2-3 for Protes if you want better lines, But, yeah, I mean, I think Denise Gomes, I think she has a clear edge in cardio here, to be honest. I really do. And I think this weight cut is it's brutal for her, for Mora. So, yeah, man, I think maybe you can mix and match, just put KO 2-3 if you want on FanDuel, and then mix and match Denise Gomes round 2 and then Denise Gomes round 3, and you'll get a very nice number there. So, yeah, that's it. We went through all 14 fights, 2 Lambo parlays. Thank you, everybody, for being in here. 406 of you in here. Shout out to all you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here doing this show. I will be going out to Vegas again on Wednesday. So I will be back out there. Now I'm going out for 2 weeks. So next week's Lambo show is kind of on skates. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it. I'll let you guys know, obviously, via Twitter. But again, thank you, everybody, for all the support. Appreciate you guys. If you guys do want to join my Discord, live bets tomorrow, I will be in there, $25 a month. The link is down below. It's through Dub Club. So appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very, very much again for all the support. And let's cash those tickets